just waiting for the live stream to start.
So Ron can come in once it starts.
We're on live, right?
Yeah, we are on live now.
Well, we are on live now. We're just getting everyone set up. So everyone, please mute for now.
Okay.
There's
Hello, can you hear me?
yes. Okay, we're going to get started. I'd like to welcome everyone to our special council meeting with regards to a zoning bylaw amendment. So welcome everybody. Bienvenue, bonsoir, and Ani. So I'd like to call this meeting to order, and I see all the councillors are here. Thank you. I need a mover and a seconder to adopt the agenda. Moved by Randy, seconded by Richard. Any changes to the agenda? Seeing none. All those in favor? Thank you. Any disclosures of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 4, which is the zoning bylaw amendment application. So this evening is a public hearing scheduled for one zoning bylaw amendment. It's application number ZBA 20-07 FR, Frank and Debby Brouwers. The Planning Act requires that a public hearing be held before council decides whether or not to pass a zoning bylaw amendment. The public hearing serves two purposes. First, to present to council and the public the details and background to a proposed rezoning, and second, to receive comments from the public and agencies before council's decision is made. Monsieur Dumont will provide a summary of the application. From there, the applicant will be requested to make a presentation via live webcast, followed by questions from the public via teleconference, either in favor or against the proposal. Council will then have the opportunity to question the applicant, the Director of Planning, or anyone giving a presentation. The zoning bylaw amendment will then be considered by council later this evening. Monsieur Dumont, would you please advise how public notice was provided?
So notice of public hearing was posted within the municipal office and was sent by mail to the assessed owners within 120 meters of the subject property for the zoning bylaw amendment application this evening, and to those persons and agencies likely to have an interest in the application. The notices were sent out on June 24, 2020, which was 20 days prior to this evening's meeting. Included with the notice was an explanation. Can you hear me, Giselle? Okay,
yeah.
Included with the notice was an explanation of the purpose and effect of the proposed zoning bylaw amendment and a key map showing the location of the property.
This portion of the hearing to be a public hearing to deal with application number ZBA 20-07 FR, Frank and Debby Brouwers. Monsieur Dumont, will you please summarize the purpose and effect of the proposed zoning bylaw amendment and provide any additional information and correspondence relevant to this application?
So the owners of this application are, as you know, are Frank and Debby Brouwers. So Frank and Debby Brouwers, we've been in consultation for the past year or so. They own the Noelville Family Resort, which is zoned presently and operated as waterfront commercial tourist. As part of our ongoing consultation, I was engaged with their lawyer. And the reason I was engaged with their lawyer at the time was they were looking at a piece of their property, which was tied together originally. It was tied together with the resort itself. However, it was on the other side of the travel portion road of what's called Prevost Road. And years ago, Debby and Frank happened to already have surveyed that portion of that property that was tied together with the resort itself. So they were looking at proceeding with a severance application. But prior to engaging the severance application process, I said this would be considered a natural severance. And the reason for it being considered a natural severance is because the road is publicly assumed and maintained by the municipality of French River. So from that discussion, I said, I guided them in the direction to get in contact with the lawyer just to ensure that the PIN descriptions are in place and that all that they would have to do is create a new deed. So they proceeded with my guidance, and they also had the existing survey that was already in place. So I looked over the legal descriptions just to ensure everything was intact, and then provided further correspondence with their lawyer. Everything went pretty smooth over the past year. So we're at a point now where the part one of that survey plan has been created. And now it's more of just a housekeeping item. And what I mean by that is since it's been transferred naturally, it was a natural severance, the property itself is still zoned waterfront commercial tours. And as we know, the property does not front on any water and it's not operated as a business. So the housekeeping item is to have that property zoned accordingly, which is residential rural. So the whole purpose for this evening's application zoning bylaw amendment is to have that part one rezoned to residential rural, in which they may be planning on building a home on the property or selling it for someone else in the future to build a home on it. So that's the whole purpose behind that. The provisions under the current bylaw again state that, hey, you need to have 60 meters of road frontage and you have to have a minimum 2 acres. And the subject property that's being rezoned this evening is going to continue and actually exceed those requirements. So it's a pretty simple rezoning application, just to understand the purpose and the intent of the use of the lands, which are not waterfront commercial tours. So overall, with respect to agency comments, the municipality of French River had no concerns or objections. No other comments were received from the public or any further agencies with respect to the application this evening. Therefore, the ZBA or the zoning bylaw application is consistent with our provincial policy statement, the current one, and also complies with our current official plan, and therefore can be supported from a planning perspective.
I understand, Matt, that the applicant doesn't wish at this time to make a presentation.
That is correct.
Then, and Matt, have you received any questions from any members of the public with regards to this rezoning?
No phone calls and no emails.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions or comments from council to the Director of Planning? I'm just looking at everybody's picture. Seeing none. If there's no further questions, then I declare the public hearing to be concluded. And now it is now in order for members of councils to make a motion and for council to consider the application. So I would like to move or seconder, and then we'll read the motion by Ron Garbett and Randy.
Duly moved and seconded, be it resolved that bylaw 2020-36, being a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw 2014-23 as amended, Frank and Debby Brouwers, be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed.
Thank you. All in favor? Thank you. Please be advised that there is a 20-day appeal period during which time any person or public body may, no later than 20 days after the day that the given of written notice as required by section 3418 of the Planning Act is completed, appeal to the municipal board by filing with the clerk of the municipality a notice of appeal, setting out the objections to the bylaw and reasons in support of the objections, accompanied by a fee prescribed under the Ontario Municipal Board Act. During this appeal, no building permit may be issued or other work commenced. I need a mover and a seconder to adjourn. Renee and Dave, all those in favor? Thank you. This meeting is adjourned, and for the folks out there watching, we will resume at 6 p.m. for the regular council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.